Chapter-1 Living World Part-2 1.3 Taxonomic Categories. Classification is not a single-step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step represents a rank or category. Since the category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called as taxonomic category, and all categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. Each category, referred to as unit of classification, in fact represents a rank and is commonly termed as taxon, plural is taxa. Taxonomic categories and hierarchy can be illustrated by an example. Insects represent a group of organisms sharing common features like three pairs of jointed legs. It means insects are recognizable concrete objects which can be classified and thus were given a rank or category. Can you name other such groups of organisms? Remember, groups represent category. Category further denotes rank. Each rank or taxon in fact represents a unit of classification. These taxonomic groups or categories are distinct biological entities and not merely morphological aggregates. Taxonomical studies of all known organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum, or division for plants, class, order, family, genus, and species. All organisms, including those in the plant and animal kingdoms, have species as the lowest category. Now, the question you may ask is how to place an organism in various categories? The basic requirement is the knowledge of characters of an individual or group of organisms. This helps in identifying similarities and dissimilarities among the individuals of the same kind of organisms as well as of other kinds of organisms. 1.3.1 Species. Taxonomic studies consider a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities as a species. One should be able to distinguish one species from the other closely related species based on their distinct morphological differences. Let's consider Mangifera indica, Solanum tuberosum that is potato, and Panthera leo that is lion. All the three names that is indica, tuberosum, and leo represent the specific epithets, while the first words that is Mangifera, Solanum, and Panthera are genera and represents another higher level of taxon or category. Each genus may have one or more than one specific epithet representing different organisms, but having morphological similarities. For example, Panthera has another specific epithet called as tigris, and Solanum includes species like Nigrum and Melongena. Human beings belong to the species Sapiens, which is grouped in the genus Homo. The scientific name thus for human being is written as Homo sapiens. 1.3.2 Genus. Genus comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. We can say that genera are aggregates of closely related species. For example, potato and brinjal are two different species but both belong to genus Solanum. Lion, Panthera leo, leopard, Panthera pardus, and tiger, that is Panthera tigris, with several common features, are all the species of the genus Panthera. This genus differs from another genus, Felis, which includes cats. 1.3.1 Family. The next category, family, has a group of related genera with still less number of similarities as compared to genus and species. Families are characterized on the basis of both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Among plants, for example, three different genera, that is Solanum, Petunia, and Datura, are placed in the family Solanaceae. Among animals, for example, genus Panthera, comprising lion, tiger, and leopard, is put along with the genus Felis, that is cats, in the family Felidae. Similarly, if you observe the features of a cat and a dog, you will find some similarities and some differences as well. They are separated in two different families, that is Felidae and Canidae respectively. 1.3.4 Order. You have seen earlier that categories like species, genus, and families are based on a number of similar characters. Generally, order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on the aggregates of the characters. Order, being a higher category, is the assemblage of families which exhibit a few similar characters. The similar characters are less in number as compared to different genera included in a family. Plant families like Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae are included in the order Polymoniales, mainly based on the floral characters. The animal order Carnivora includes families like Felidae and Canidae. 1.3.5 Class. This category includes related orders. For example, order Primata, comprising monkey, gorilla, and gibbon, is placed in the class Mammalia along with the order Carnivora that includes animals like tiger, cat, and dog. Class Mammalia has other orders too. 1.3.6 Phylum. Classes comprising animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, along with mammals, constitute the next higher category called as phylum. All these based on the common features like presence of notochord and dorsal holoneural system are included in phylum Chordata. In case of plants, classes with few similar characters are assigned to a higher category called as division. 1.3.7 Kingdom. All animals belonging to various phyla are assigned to the highest category called as kingdom Animalia in the classification system of animals. The kingdom Plantae, on the other hand, is distinct and comprises all plants from various divisions. Henceforth, we will refer to these two groups as animal and plant kingdoms. The taxonomic categories from species to kingdom have been shown in ascending order, starting with the species in figure 1.1. These are the broad categories. However, taxonomists have also developed subcategories in this hierarchy to facilitate more sound and scientific placement of various taxa. Look at the hierarchy in figure 1.1. Can you recall the basis of arrangement? Say, for example, as we go higher from species to kingdom, the number of common characteristics goes on decreasing. Lower the taxa, more are the characteristics that the members within the taxon share. Higher the category, greater is the difficulty of determining the relationship to other taxa at the same level. Hence, the problem of classification becomes more complex. Table 1.1 indicates the taxonomic categories to which some common organisms like housefly, man, mango, and wheat belong. Let's move to table 1.1. First is man. Man is the common name. Its biological name is Homo sapiens. Genus is Homo. Species is Sapiens. Family is Hominidae. Order is Primata. Class is Mammalia. And phylum is Chordata. Next is housefly. Biological name is Musca domestica. Genus is Musca and species is Domestica. Family is Muscidae. Order is Diptera. Class is Insecta. And phylum is Orthopoda. Next is mango. Its biological name is Mangifera indica. Genus is Mangifera. Family is Anacardiaceae. Order is Sapindales. Class is Dicotyledonnae. And division is Angiosperm. Next is wheat. Biological name is Triticum aestivum. Genus is Triticum. Species is Aestivum. Family is Poaceae. Order is Poales. Class is Monocotyledonnae. And division is Angiosperm. 1.4 Taxonomical aids. Taxonomical studies of various species of plants animals, and other organisms are useful in agriculture, forestry, industry, and in general in knowing our bioresources and their diversity. These studies would require correct classification and identification of organisms. Identification of organisms requires intensive laboratory and field studies. The collection of actual specimens of plant and animal species is essential and is the prime source of taxonomic studies. These are also fundamental to the studies and essential for training in systematics. It is used for classification of an organism, and the information gathered is also stored along with the specimens. In some cases, the specimen is preserved for future studies. Biologists have established certain procedures and techniques to store and preserve the information as well as the specimens. Some of these are explained to help you understand the usage of these aids. 1.4.1 Herbarium. Herbarium is the storehouse of collected plant specimens that are dried, pressed, and preserved on sheets. Further, these sheets are arranged according to a universally accepted system of classification. These specimens, along with their descriptions on herbarium sheets, become a storehouse or repository for future use. The herbarium sheets also carry a label providing information about date and place of collection, English, local, and botanical names, family, collector's name, etc. Herbaria also serve as a quick reference systems in taxonomical studies. 1.4.2 Botanical Gardens. These specialized gardens have collections of living plants for reference. Plant species in these gardens are grown for identification purposes, and each plant is labeled indicating its botanical, that is, scientific name and its family. The famous botanical gardens are at Kew, England, Indian Botanical Garden, Hora, India, and at National Botanical Research Institute, Lucknow, India. 1.4.3 Museum. Biological museums are generally set up in an educational institute such as schools and colleges. Museums have collections of preserved plant and animal specimens for study and reference. Specimens are preserved in the containers or jars in preservative solutions. Plant and animal specimens may also be preserved as dry specimens. Insects are preserved in insect boxes after collecting, killing, and pinning. Larger animals like birds and mammals are usually stuffed and preserved. Museums often have collections of skeletons of animals too. 1.4.4 Zoological Parks. These are the places where wild animals are kept in protected environments under human care and which enable us to learn about their food habitats and behavior. All animals in a zoo are provided as far as possible the conditions similar to their natural habitats. Children love visiting these parks, commonly called as zoos. 1.4.5 Key. Key is another taxonomical aid used for identification of plants and animals based on the similarities and dissimilarities. The keys are based on the contrasting characters, generally in a pair called as couplet. It represents the choice made between two opposite options. This results in acceptance of only one and rejection of the other. Each statement in the key is called as lead. Separate taxonomic keys are required for each taxonomic category, such as family, genus, and species, for identification purposes. Keys are generally analytical in nature. Flora, manuals, monographs, and catalogs are some other means of recording descriptions. They also help in correct identification. Flora contains the actual account of habitat and distribution of plants of a given area. These provide the index to the plant species found in a particular area. Manuals are useful in providing information for identification of names of species found in an area. Monographs contain information on any one taxa. Summary: the living world is rich in variety. Millions of plants and animals have been identified and described, but a large number still remains unknown. The very range of organisms, in terms of size, color, habitat, physiological, and morphological features, make us seek the defining characteristics of living organisms. In order to facilitate the study of kinds and diversity of organisms, biologists have evolved certain rules and principles for identification, nomenclature, and classification of organisms. The branch of knowledge dealing with these aspects is referred to as taxonomy. The taxonomic studies of various species of plants and animals are useful in agriculture, forestry, industry, and in general for knowing our bioresources and their diversity. The basics of taxonomy, like identification, naming, and classification of organisms, are universally evolved under international codes. Based on the resemblances and distinct differences, each organism is identified and assigned a correct scientific or biological name comprising two words as per the binomial system of nomenclature. An organism represents or occupies a place or position in the system of classification. There are many categories or ranks and are generally referred to as taxonomic categories or taxa. All the categories constitute a taxonomic hierarchy. Taxonomists have developed a variety of taxonomic aids to facilitate identification, naming, and classification of organisms. These studies are carried out from the actual specimens, which are collected from the field and preserved as reference in the form of herbaria, museums, and in botanical gardens and zoological parks. It requires special techniques for collection and preservation of specimens in herbaria and museums. Live specimens, on the other hand, of plants and animals are found in botanical gardens or in zoological parks. Taxonomists have also prepared and disseminate information through manuals and monographs for further taxonomic studies. Taxonomic keys are tools that help in identification based on the characteristics.